I have no inside information about this, but I'm going to tell you a story that does, in fact, have inside and secret information. I'm going to cut to the conclusion of this. It's okay for the Wikipedia community to talk about Osama Khalid. I don't have anything in mind what you might discuss. Really, I don't. I'll tell you everything that I know, but that's the conclusion. I just wanted to start out there. My name is Lane Raspberry. I edit Wikipedia as Blue Raspberry. I'm Wikimedian in residence at the School of Data Science at the University of Virginia. I'm good at editing Wikipedia. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. Osama Khalid is my colleague. We edit Wikipedia together. I'm also his friend. We're friends in a casual way. I have met this person at an annual conference that we both go to, the Wikipedia conference. It's called Wikimedia. So when he would attend, I would also be there. I would look for him, he would look for me, and we would have coffee together and chat about the collaborations we did. Osama is a physician. He lives in Saudi Arabia. He edits medical information on Wikipedia. I also edit medical information on Wikipedia. So that's one connection we have. We both edit medical information. And the reason why I found him, in addition to him editing medical information, I would have found him anyway. But he and I also participate in another project to coordinate the translation of Wikipedia articles across languages. He speaks Arabic and English. I only speak English well. And he was a person to whom I and other people could send English language health information. He would translate this content into Arabic. I'm talking about public health information. It's health information that people would need to know about major diseases, drugs, medical conditions that they would encounter in day-to-day life. The kind of thing that people would expect to find general reference information on Wikipedia to inform their decisions about whatever they're dealing with these things. So we did medical information together, we did translation together, and then we saw each other a number of years when he would go to the conference that I went to. He skipped a couple of conferences, and I found out in 2022 that he was arrested. Here we are in October 2023 now. He was arrested by the government of Saudi Arabia, as I understand it's governmental offense. And it's reported that he's sentenced to be in prison for 32 years. So here's a person, he got his, I knew him before he got his medical license, and then he was going to medical school. He got his medical license, started practicing as a physician. He wasn't married, and then he told me he got married. And then I hear that he's imprisoned. He's accused of something related to political dissidence. I don't know anything about this, so how I knew him was that he had medical information on Wikipedia. And I'm not going to say, I don't have more information, so I'm about at the limit of my information of what I honestly know about this. But I'm just going to imagine something. So here's the best case scenario that I can think of. So here's a person who's good at editing Wikipedia. He's editing medical information on Wikipedia. And perhaps there's a misunderstanding. Perhaps because he's publishing information online to a global audience. When you edit Wikipedia, people in multiple countries read what you have to say. And he's what you could call popular. You could call him a media influencer. What he says are things that many millions of people are going to read. He made very popular content. I'm one to be able to judge. I can't read Arabic, but I know the way he edited Wikipedia, and I can look at the metrics. People read the content that he's publishing. Medical information in general, it's very popular. So perhaps it could happen that there's a fear in the government of some kind of political misconduct happening, and there's a roundup of people who are popular on the internet. That's definitely him. And the government officials can't tell the difference between people who are writing about politics versus people who are just popular in general. He's also a person that goes to international conferences, talks to people like me from the United States, and talks to people from a great many countries. The medical meetups that we have at our conference, they're always attended by people from, I would guess, no fewer than 15 different countries. It's a diverse meetup. Medicine and medical information, we necessarily have to collaborate internationally to share the kind of information that Wikipedia shares. So I'd like to believe, I have no information that would tell me not to believe, that it's some kind of misunderstanding. I don't want him to be in jail for 32 years for whatever happened. Well, what to do next? There's this concept called common knowledge, where one wonders what other people know. So, I know Osama. I know what happened to him. What am I supposed to do in response? Like, for example, is it okay for me to talk in public about him? And this month, the Wikimedia Foundation, which is the nonprofit organization which acts as the steward of the Wikimedia projects, they have a human rights team, paid staff that address human rights issues, and they issued a statement when prompted, when asked in public by other Wikipedia community members. So I'm a community member. I'm a content contributor, a content creator in Wikipedia. That's not to say I work for the Wikimedia Foundation. I happen to be at a university. So the difference, if you can imagine this, is that there's websites like YouTube, and they have staff that present the platform, but the employees of YouTube are not the content creators that you see on YouTube. There's a content creator community, and then there's a staff community, and they may not interact. And in the Wikimedia Foundation, perhaps there's more interaction between the staff and the community than there is between YouTube and the YouTube content creator community, but I wouldn't say that I have a special relationship. I don't have a relationship with the human rights team or really with the Wikimedia Foundation. So a journalist asked them, can you give an update about Osama? What's the human rights situation with him? What do we need to know? And the response from the human rights team at the Wikimedia Foundation was that we're doing everything we can and we're unable to comment about human rights issues in general. We're not going to comment about this case. So fine. So what does that mean for the wiki community, the content creators? How should they respond to that? And I've been thinking about this, and over the past few months, I've talked with other wiki community members, separate from wiki staff members, thinking, what should we do about this? Is it okay to talk about Osama? Should we keep quiet? If we talk in public, is that going to hurt something? And I don't have a communication channel to talk to the Wikimedia Foundation human rights team. They've given all the statement that I think they're going to make. I mean, definitively, they've given all the statement that they're going to make. And so where does that leave the wiki community? It's well known that I'm part of the wiki medicine community, and it's well known that I'm part of the translator community in Wikipedia. And no one at the Wikimedia Foundation gave us any inside information about Osama. There's no communication. It's not that I expected them to, but since they didn't, they neither told us to do something or didn't tell us to do anything, I think we're free to do whatever we want. If they wanted to communicate something, they could have, and they didn't. In Wikipedia, in this Wikipedia community, there's some superpowers we have, some things that Wikipedia can do that can't be done anywhere in the world, can't be done by any government, can't be done by any university, can't be done by a corporation. No matter how much money you have, there's some things that Wikipedia can do that nobody else in the world can do. And one of the things that Wikipedia can organize is it's got a community of people like me, content creators. We know each other. We talk with each other. We're colleagues sometimes. We're friends sometimes. Osama and I, we would have coffee together. He asked me about my personal friends. I asked him about his family. This was a meeting that we have, and I have this kind of relationship with a lot of people, and sometimes it's closer than colleagues and collaborators. Sometimes we're friends. We do talk about personal things. And so when you have this kind of network of like-minded people who all have this expertise and we're all doing this project together, and we feel very sincerely that Wikipedia should have good information, health information, or whatever anyone does, we can organize public conversations. And because there was no common knowledge established, would it hurt Osama if we had public conversations? I think it's established by what the Wikimedia Foundation human rights team said, that they're not going to give any comment, that whatever they're doing, it doesn't involve the wiki community. Like, they're independent of the wiki community. They're not collaborating with the wiki community. They're doing something, and the wiki community may be doing whatever it wants to do, and they're not involved. They're not involved. Something else that the Wikipedia community does very well is Wikipedia article editing. I know it may seem obvious, but when our community gets together, we have a certain tool in our toolkit, and that is that a lot of people read Wikipedia. A lot of people read Wikipedia in every country, in every language. And if there's information that's important to the people in our community, we can curate and develop Wikipedia articles on that topic, and then that information goes around the world. People have access to it. When they ask questions on the internet, then the information in Wikipedia shows up. When something like this happens, I'm not saying that people need to make Wikipedia articles about Osama or his particular case, but we can certainly organize events on things that we imagine might be relevant, like freedom of the press, freedom of communication, human rights in any country. It doesn't have to be in any particular country, but how are the Wikipedia articles on human rights and human rights by country? Human rights on different topics for journalists, for researchers, for people who edit Wikipedia, new technology and media. I believe that everyone in the world should have the right to read Wikipedia and have the right to edit Wikipedia. But there are some countries that restrict access to it. I don't have a good understanding of why. But if I wanted to learn more, I'd try to learn more through Wikipedia itself, because Wikipedia is a platform where people can find the best sources of information, the smartest people who have ever written on these subjects, summarize what they have to say, put it in the Wikipedia article, cite these experts so that people can either read the Wikipedia summary or read the original authoritative source, even translate this kind of information into other languages so that it can be part of a global discussion. And this is what I'm saying can happen now. It's okay to talk about Osama. It's okay to talk about human rights, and it's okay to organize Wikipedia editing events in his name, if you like, or just to promote human rights, if you like. Again, I don't have information about his case, but this is how the Wikipedia community responds to things. I want to talk about something else, the weirdness of having incomplete information and what it means for someone like me to be a content creator and to collaborate with this organization, this Wikimedia Foundation, that's a nonprofit partner to the platform. In a lot of ways, the Wikimedia Foundation is essential. Somebody's got to maintain the website. Somebody's got to respond to legal requests. Somebody's got to do software development, keep the lights on, is how we describe it. The website has to be operational, and it's terribly expensive to keep on a website and to keep it maintained with software updates. And it's also necessary to respond to different kinds of legal challenges and even human rights challenges, as in this case. I'm telling you about one human rights case in Wikipedia. There's a lot of them. There's some staff that work on these kinds of things. But it's an odd situation that I'm so into Wikipedia, and I've got so many colleagues that are so into Wikipedia, and there's not a communication channel that we have with these paid staff of the Wikimedia Foundation on this human rights team. And it's not just about the human rights team, it's about the entire Wikimedia Foundation, lack of communication channels between the community and the foundation. And I trust the people who are on the human rights team, that they have credentials in human rights and that they're experts. And this isn't about them at all. I'm not criticizing anyone there. But I will say that it's obvious to me, and it's obvious to other Wikipedians, who is a Wikipedian and who is not part of the Wikipedia community. And people at the Wikimedia Foundation are not part of the Wikipedia community. I'll tell you some more about what I mean. So maybe I've got a profession. Maybe I'm a professional Wikipedia editor. What can I say? I am. It's my hobby also. It's a lot of people's hobbies. There's very few professional Wikipedia editors. I'm in an unusual situation, but there's a lot of people who are really into Wikipedia as a hobby. And when we go to these conferences, we can tell instantly if somebody's part of the Wikipedia community or not. Not instantly, but pretty quick. I'm going to give a comparison. I'm going to just name some hobbies. And what I'd like you to think of is, if you can imagine someone who's really into these hobbies, they really like these things, would they be able to look at another person or talk with another person and determine if that other person next to them is just as into it as them? So you might be good at a particular sport, meaning when you're with your friends or with your family playing softball or cricket or football, soccer in your backyard, maybe you're the best one in your friend group at doing this. You're casually good at a thing. But there's a difference between being casually good at a thing and being good at a thing. Like, what if somebody's really devoted to this? What if it's a big part of their life and it's what they do? Can somebody who is really into wine, drinking wine, they go to vineyards, they talk about wine, they study wine, they go to wine classes, would they be able to tell the difference between another wine connoisseur and somebody who just drinks wine with their dinner and really enjoys it? Can they tell the difference? Other hobbies. What if you're into knitting and you casually knit sometimes? But what if you're really into knitting and you're on all the internet forums and you talk about knitting all the time? Can someone who's good at knitting tell the difference between another person like that and someone who's just casually into this? What about hiking? What about gardening? What about someone who watches a certain TV show or is into a movie franchise versus someone who really likes talking about these things? Someone who saw a particular movie versus someone who talks about the movie continually with other people. Can they tell the difference? If someone says that they read some 19th century British literature, could a scholar of British literature tell the difference between them and another scholar? Somebody's into video games, plays video games competitively maybe, versus someone who just plays them with their friends. Is there a difference? Somebody who's really into K-pop, for example, likes the artist versus just someone who listens to them sometimes. Someone who takes dancing classes and dances with their friends and is really serious about dancing versus somebody who just goes out for recreational dancing at a nightclub sometimes. These are cultures. These are communities. These are things that people get into. And if you're just casually enjoy them, that's fine. And I hope you have fun, and that's entirely respectable. But if somebody's really good at these things, good at these things, it's another level. And the people who are really good at these things, they know the difference. They can grade people. It's not to put them down or exclude them. It's just a matter of fact. Is somebody on your level or not? And sometimes I do wonder about the staff of the Wikimedia Foundation, if they really believe that a Wikipedia community culture exists. When we have these conferences and we go meet each other, I talk with other people like me who volunteer thousands of hours of their lives that talk about this stuff online, in person, spend so much time doing this, so many hours in the library doing research to improve Wikipedia articles, versus somebody who's never edited Wikipedia, but then they get a job at the Wikimedia Foundation and aren't really aware of how into this people are. And what I'm telling you is that it's completely obvious to the Wikipedia community that the Wikimedia Foundation doesn't have other people as staff who are good at Wikipedia and the community culture. And if you're not really into this, if you're not a community insider, if this isn't your community of practice, if this isn't your fandom, if it's just not your thing, there's going to be a few consequences of that. One is that you're not going to take advantage of the strengths that Wikipedia has. And two of the strengths that I mentioned is that any Wikipedia community member, as soon as any issue comes up whatsoever, anything worth discussing, they're going to discuss it with other Wikipedia community members, because they can go into a social network. There's thousands of these Wikipedia discussion forums. I'm comfortable to go into any of them and start talking to complete strangers who are also Wikipedia editors, and they're going to accept me as an equal. And if you're not good at Wikipedia, you can't just go into any social setting and expect that people are going to accept you. So that's a drawback that a lot of staff of the Wikimedia Foundation have. Another thing is, as a Wikipedia community member, I can instantly look at Wikipedia and see content gaps or content strengths and say this exists and this doesn't exist, and imagine an entire community organized editing campaign for what to improve or what to develop in the Wikipedia platform to know that people are actually going to read this content. Staff of the Wikimedia Foundation, just as a rule, they're not Wikipedians, so they can't do this. It's not theirs. No matter what they try, you have to be a Wikipedian to do these kinds of things, and the staff can't do these kinds of things. The human rights team at the Wikimedia Foundation, they don't have this kind of expertise to do these things. Not to criticize any of them, and not to say that they have zero expertise, but just certainly all the staff are not equipped to do this, and it's I'm not going to say it's limiting, but it's just not something. It's infrastructure that could be developed, and it's not developed, and they have no option to do this even if they wanted to. And I question that. I think we should talk more about that also, because we get a lot of benefits by hiring experts from outside the Wikipedia community, but also I want people to be sufficiently resourced so that if they want to take advantage of Wikipedia strengths, that they can do that instantly. This doesn't just show up in human rights in the Wikimedia Foundation. There's way too many very public examples of the Wikimedia Foundation commissioning very expensive software development that was a non-starter, very expensive and money wasted, because they were designing software products that are contrary to what makes sense for a Wikipedia community member. And if you had a Wiki community member review the thing at any point, then they would instantly say this is incompatible with our ethics and values, and it's a non-starter to do product development in this way. And of course, if you release this, you're going to face a massive protest. And if the Wikimedia Foundation releases a product and doesn't anticipate a massive protest, that's a problem too, because it should be obvious when the community is going to object to something, when they're going to accept it. I just saw a product come out today, and I feel this way about it. Like, I wish staff of the Wikimedia Foundation had access to community comment early, because they can't look at this with their eyes and see the things that any Wiki community member would see. I'm talking about all the partnerships that the Wikimedia Foundation tries to establish and the way that they frame those partnerships, what they tell the partners that Wikipedia can offer and what the partners are expecting from Wikipedia. Basic governance decisions. Can you put people in leadership of the Wikimedia Foundation who are ethically aligned with what the community would want? Can the leaders at least know if they're considering transgressing a taboo? Would they even be conscious of that? The research directions. The things that you ask about, the way you develop the research team, communications. What do you tell journalists? I know that when you're talking to journalists, you have to simplify things, make it in a way that a general audience can understand. But if you are going to simplify things, are you even conscious that you're simplifying it? Decisions and grant making. If the Wikimedia Foundation gives grants to people out in the world, are they conscious of when they're giving grants to Wikipedia community members versus people who don't know anything about Wikipedia, but who happen to apply for a grant? I don't mind that the Wikimedia Foundation does things that sometimes the community wouldn't do, but I would like to have faith and trust that when the Wikimedia Foundation does such things, that they're conscious of the decision they're making and just have some awareness that they may be recommending ethical directions that are broadly unpopular with the Wikipedia community. As I think about Osama, it scares me to think that I could be making this video and saying these things, and somehow by saying it's okay to talk about, that it could hurt his legal case. But I'm convinced that I have all the information that is available. I'm not going to say that I'm his close friend, but we are friends. I don't know him intimately, but I know him better than most in the Wiki community. And I think it would be a good idea to talk more about his case, about human rights situation in general, about the relationship between the Wikimedia community and the Wikimedia Foundation, how we can collaborate to navigate these complicated international diplomatic situations, and how to maximize our impact with the resources that we have for human rights and for everything else. It's all interconnected. And I want much better relationships between the Wikipedia community and the Wikimedia Foundation. Thanks so much.